Welcome to the garage, everyone. We're back again. I am Tim. I work for Golf Cart Garage. We come here twice a week. Tim, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's all you got to remember. Tim, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some of you may have already liked and subscribed this video, this content. If you haven't, go ahead and do that, and then you'll get notified. That way you don't have to remember Tim, Tuesday, Thursday. You'll be notified. But we come here, talk about golf carts. We answer some questions. We try to interact with some people in the live chat to see if I can help them out in any way. I have some practical golf cart experience. I owned a golf cart shop for a number of years, all the way up until I went to work for Golf Cart Garage. So I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of golf cart problems. So I may have seen your issue before. So feel free to ask a question in the live chat, or feel free to send in a question to golfcartgarage.com. Got Craig in the chat. What's up, Craig? Hi from Godfrey, Illinois. Oh, and I got we got your suggestions and your input, Craig. We appreciate that. Your feedback. We appreciate feedback like that. And I guarantee you that we will implement some of the stuff that you suggested, because it's some good ideas. So appreciate that, man. Thank you. Let's see here. If you would like to follow us on YouTube and Facebook, obviously you know to do that, but you can also follow us on all platforms. We're everywhere. We're on Instagram, TikTok. The links are running right now, so you can follow us on anywhere you would like, whatever your favorite social media platform is. We're going to be there. You'll get sick of seeing me. I'm all over the place. All right, let's get started with the regular questions. Let me check over here. Everything looks good there. We got some interesting questions today to talk about. Let's see. Question number 1. This is from Chris. Recently purchased a 2017 RXV 48 volt. It seems to run fine, and then I put a lift kit on and tires on it. Takes off good and then goes to a slow crawl. I run the voltmeter on the draw. Draw goes down to 43.6 for a 20-second takeoff. The pack fully charged at about 50.6 volts across each battery. That seems fine. They seem to be at 12.6. Could I have bad batteries, or does it seem like another issue? Well, there's a couple of things there. Okay, the lift kit should not have changed anything electrically in your cart. So if it was running fine before the lift kit, it still should be running fine. Now the taller tires is going to draw the battery numbers down a little bit more than it was drawing your numbers down before. Just the fact that it's got taller tires on it, it's just going to cause it to be in a different gear ratio. So it's going to draw those numbers down. But that 43 point something for a 20-second takeoff, that doesn't sound too bad. It sounds like you might have an unrelated issue to the lift kit. To me, it's you're sort of exhibiting the symptoms of a speed sensor fault. You know, speed sensor's on the end of your motor. So that's where I would be leaning toward. That one would be speed sensor rather than bad batteries. I think your batteries are fine. I think you got another issue. Got Cat-Free83 in the YouTube chat. Hi from Tyler, watching with Harry and Helen. Glad to have you. Glad to have all three of you. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Let me check over here. That looks good. We're on question number 2. I want to know if I will notice a difference in ride feel between a 215/40 on 12s and a 215/50 on 12s on an EZGO RXV on a bumpy cart path. You're not going to tell the difference because you're still running on 12s, and so in other words, the height of the tires is the only thing that's the same, and you're running on 12s, so you only have a certain amount of tire above the rim, a certain amount of profile above the rim if you're running on 12s, and it's not very much. You know, you don't have very much tire or very much air pressure to play with there. The only thing difference is the width of the tire from the numbers that you're giving me. So no, you're not going to notice. You probably wouldn't notice any difference at all. Now, unless you're, on a racetrack and that wider tire gives you more, traction or whatever. But as far as your ride quality, it's not going to change, in my opinion. You probably wouldn't be able to tell. Got John Ginslinger Norris. What's up, John? How's it going? Good morning to you, sir. Glad to have you. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Oh, Craig, by the way, I wanted to say I appreciate some of the kind words you said about me and your feedback too. Thank you for saying that. Everybody at the company read that, so it's always good to get feedback and something positive. So thank you. Let's see. We're on number 3. This is from Ron. It says, I have a 36-volt cart, put in new batteries, put in a voltage reducer. I'm having a problem with hooking up the switch to turn the lights on. Well, let's just talk about it, the basic deal with the voltage reducer, or how that works. The voltage reducer has a line in which hooks to your battery pack. That's where your power comes into the voltage reducer, and then it's got power out of the other side, which is a usable 12-volt power for your lights. That side's going to have a positive and a negative line. There are many ways that you could hook up a switch for your headlights. You could see, all the switch is going to do is it's going to break one of those lines, one of those outlines, one of the positive or the negative. It's just going to break that wire momentarily to turn your lights out, and then it's going to reconnect that wire to turn your lights back on. So you could mount that switch anywhere you wanted to on either one of those wires, or run the wires, run extensions from that wire from each end to the switch, and then the switch just goes on, cuts them together, turn the switch off, it breaks that wire. That's all a switch does. So there's many places that you could put that. Let me check over here on Facebook for a second. Checking. All right. Craig says, I have one stock wheel and tire on my EZGO RXV that drops from 20 down to 10 in a day or two. Can't find the leak. Do you ever use tire goo to seal from the inside? That is a good question, and the answer is yes. I have used that before, because sometimes they're hard to find. That's why at my shop I had a big bucket. When I had a tire that was very difficult to find the leak. I'd fill up the bucket and I'd sink the tire in the bucket until I could find the bubbles. That's the only way sometimes that's the only way you can find them, is you got to sink the whole thing in water. And then you can always find it like that. It'd be a little bitty bubble stream somewhere if you're leaking that much. But yeah, I've put plugs in tires. I put a lot of plugs. The plugs work fine if it's a real good spot to get to. I've put green slime. You get that stuff called slime at Walmart. Now there's all kinds of stuff besides slime that you can use. And yeah, it does work. It works on, it will help your situation. John Norris says, hey Craig, that stuff is amazing. So he's familiar with that stuff too. Yeah, it will work. Number 4. Let's see, the number 4 is from Jim. How do I test my battery charger to tell if it's charging the batteries fully or if I have bad batteries? When I tried to charge the batteries, the max was 47.6 after 16 hours, 2 times in the last week. The problem is the cart won't move. I hear a click when I depress the accelerator pedal. All my batteries test equal, but after 16 hours on charge, the max was 47.6. Each battery was 7.8 volts when checked individually. How do I tell if the battery charger is doing its job? Also, the cart doesn't move, only a click when the throttle is pushed down. Well, Jim, that's considered very dead battery pack. 48 volt battery pack the resting voltage should be about over 50. It should be 50 to 51 volts, the resting voltage. There's a big difference between 48.0 and 50.2 or something like that. That's the difference between a dead battery pack, believe it or not, and a charged battery pack. So you're even below the 48 volt mark. So that's definitely considered dead. The way that you tell if your charger is working is you take a resting voltage on your battery pack without the charger plugged in, on your battery pack, not on the charger, on the battery pack. See what your volts are, take note of that, plug your charger in and keep your voltmeter there and watch it and see if the volts start rising. As soon as the charger comes on, the volts should start rising in your battery pack immediately. If they don't move, your charger's not working. And toward the end of the charge cycle, I mean after 16 hours, you should be up to about 60 volts in there. So you either have a charger issue or your batteries are gone, or they're not accepting the charge, one or the other. So the thing you should do first is test your charger on another car. Make sure your charger's okay. Like that, just for verification, to make sure it's okay. But it sounds like your batteries are really, really dead. So that could be your issue also. Craig said he took it off and sprayed it all around. No luck. I may try dunking it. Good idea. Thanks, homie. No problem, man. No problem. That's what I always do. It's easier. Just pop it off real quick and dunk it in the water. Let's see. Number 5. I have a club car golf cart with a Kawasaki 900cc engine, 5-speed transmission with a clutch. I'd like to have a reverse, but don't know how to do it. Believe it or not, that's a common problem. I know that there's not very many golf carts out there running a Kawasaki 900cc motor, but there are some. I know some guys. I've seen them. I've raced them. I've got a electric race car, my EZGO, that it doesn't have reverse either. So once you start getting up in horsepower like that, reverse, you kind of eliminate things. You're shaving weight, and you end up eliminating reverse just for different reasons. On a modification like what you're talking about with a Kawasaki 900, the reason you don't have reverse is because you don't have a gearbox. You've got the gearbox in the motorcycle. Motorcycles don't have reverse, so you're going to have to put something in the rear to, you could put a rear end, a transaxle rear end that had a reverse gear in it. The problem is that you're going to run into is that you're going to have to get something that can handle the horsepower of a 900cc Kawasaki, or you're just going to shred that gearbox. So I was actually thinking about this question before. That's why you see a lot of golf carts with motorcycle swaps in them that don't have reverse. It's because it's going to be very difficult to achieve. Now, one thing I was thinking about that you could try, because those big Harleys, that the trike conversions, and big Honda Gold Wings in the trike conversion, well, they have reverse. So you might ought to check into that, whatever they're doing in that system, in order to get reverse, because that would be a system that would handle your horsepower that you're talking about throwing to it. It'd handle it in forward and reverse. So you might check into that. Let's see. Christine Taylor. What's up, Christine Taylor? 1999 TXT. What is it worth without batteries? Well, I'll tell you like this. Without batteries means that someone is the charger included? That would be my first question. Do you have a working charger that's going to go with the golf cart? Because that's an expense right there. But a set of batteries nowadays, you're looking at, even on the low end, a brand new set of batteries. So ever who you sell the golf cart to, or ever who gets it, they got a $1,000 bill coming for sure. I mean, it's at least $1,000 is what they're going to pay, and probably even more than that, probably even closer to $1,500 if they had somebody else do it. If they did it themselves on the low end with some cheap batteries, you might be able to do it for $1,000. So they've got that. So the cart itself, a 99 TXT without batteries, with a charger, also is going to depend on the area of the country that you're in. The closer you get to Georgia, the prices go down, believe it or not. The closer you are to Georgia, because that's where all golf carts are the three major manufacturers are made. Club Car, EZGO, and Yamaha. They're all made in Georgia. So it seems like the closer you get that way, the prices go down. But without batteries, you could be anywhere, if it's just stock, no accessories, you could be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 in my opinion, on that particular car. He needs to use a Honda. Oh yeah, that's right, Thomas Mack. I see what you're. The Honda Gullwing, even without the trike, has a reverse, doesn't it? Yeah, something like that, or maybe figure out a way just to get figure out how they're making that have a reverse. You know, because I mean, hit that whole bike engine with that reverse, that'd be quite expensive. But yeah, Chevy man and Donnie's Hayabusa motorcycle with a straight axle. Chevy man and Donnie Hayabusa motorcycle with a straight axle. Are you talking about something you've seen with a Hayabusa motor in? Okay, I see what you're saying here. With a straight axle, yeah. I know a guy that had something in it. I don't know exactly what. I don't think it was a Hayabusa. I think it was like a Ninja motor or something in it, I believe. And he used a straight axle. What do you mean don't do it? I'd do it in a minute. I think it's cool. Let's see. Number 6 is where we're at. I have a 94 EZGO and I want it faster. What are the ways and cost of doing this? It's a 36 volt cart. In a 94, it could be a resistor cart, it could be a controller cart. So if it's a resistor cart, I don't even want to tackle it. I don't even want to try to make it faster, because anything you do is just going to make the problems with the resistors and cause you to have to do a conversion to controller. So if in a controller cart, to make it faster, there's a couple of things you could do. You could just put in a bigger controller to start with, and then put in high-speed gears. If that's not enough, you could put taller tires. Taller tires will actually increase your speed a little bit, not a lot, but it increase your speed a little bit. But the best thing to do is get one of the combo kits for that car. For an EZGO, you can get a combo kit it includes a high torque or high speed motor and a bigger controller and a heavy duty solenoid. And you can get those at golfcartgarage.com. You can look at the combo kits that we sell and pick one out for your particular model. And it even, in the description of the combo kits, it even tells you the percentages of expected speed increase and expected torque increase, or a combination of both. Let's see. John Norris says, hey Tim, at what point do we live chat cat start asking how we can get one of those sweet hats at Swag or other cool GCG branded attire? Free advertising for Gearhead Central. Well, like I said before to someone else who asked that question, just because of the fact that you ask that in the live chat, that's going to make a difference. That is going to make a difference. It is on the list. It is on the list of things to accomplish. I had this one made myself, but we are going to produce them, I believe. We're supposed to be working on that, and we're supposed to be working on some other stuff too. So we got some exciting stuff down the road that we're going to be doing, including what you're asking about. I hope so. Anyway, I hope we can get that done. It has been brought up. It has been brought up. Oh, you knew that, huh? That's why I said it. Okay, yeah. All right. Let me look over here on Facebook. No, we're good there. Number 7. This is from Joey. Hello, is it worth to spend the money and install a Navitas 440 controller on an EZGO TXT? Are the performance results that impressive? Thanks, Joe. If your TXT is a series cart, you might not be able to tell that much of a difference. But if your if your TXT is a PDS, in other words, if it has a run toe switch and it's a PDS, then yeah, it's going to unlock your cart to be at maximum speed and maximum torque. So your cart's kind of limited if you have this, if you have that stock controller in there. But that Navitas is going to unlock it. So yeah, you'll be impressed because you will get more speed out of the deal. Christine Taylor, how much 99 EZGO TXT worth without batteries? I thought we covered that a few minutes ago, but anywhere in my area, it would only be worth between $500 to $1,000 without batteries if there's nothing else on the golf cart. If it's not lifted, if it's stock, if it doesn't have a 4-passenger kit, if it doesn't have lights, just a regular golf cart without batteries, EZGO TXT, probably somewhere between $500 to $1,000 in my area, but it depends on your area. All right, check. We're going to be on number 8 here in a minute. Number 8 is from Steve. I recently bought a 2017 EZGO TXT lithium cart. Is there any way to increase the speed of this thing? Well, you've got the best battery setup that you can get right now. You've already dropped, if it's a lithium cart, it's already dramatically reduced weight. You've already got reduced weight. You've got a battery that's capable of going an amazing amount of distance, and you should be feeling a little bit more power already just because of the weight drop. So unless we're talking about a brand new cart that came that way, or are we talking about a lithium conversion that you did? But either way, it's dramatically lighter than a lead acid cart. So one of the things you could do would just be put high-speed gears in. Just if everything is working correctly, then the high-speed gears would get you to the next level of speed. If you could be as simple as programming. 2017 EZGO could probably be brought to EZGO, and they might could program with their special computer, just tune it up just to the max. Whatever it's set at right now might be golf course speed. You could get it set reprogrammed to a little bit faster, like neighborhood speed or something. So that's a couple of things you can do in the very beginning, and then after that, you start throwing money at it. Anything's possible. Number 9 is from Jerry. Why is my 2009 club car precedent backfire when the throttle is released? Anytime I've seen backfiring issues, I've seen it when the throttle is released, backfires. I've seen it when the throttle is pushed down, like after coasting down a hill and your foot is off the throttle and your golf cart's kind of coasting down a hill, and then you get to the bottom of the hill and you got to put your foot back in the throttle to climb the next hill. Pow! I've seen it backfire right there. I've seen them backfire when it's released. Like I said, every time it has something to do, every time that I've come across that, if what I'm saying sounds familiar to your situation, it was something to do with the needle and seat being out of adjustment. Because what was happening is when I let off and the cart starts going down the hill, there's still gas going, but it's not firing because you don't have your foot on the pedal. And as soon as that gas starts filling, it goes past the carburetor. In other words, the needle and seat is not stopping gas from continuing to enter the engine, which it's supposed to. When you let off, it's supposed to shut off the gas flow. So it's not stopping. And then as soon as you put your foot back in it, it fires and it blows up that gas, and that causes a backfire. So in your case, with the throttle releasing, I'm thinking it's going to be something similar, like the needle and seat is doing something. It's allowing gas to continue to flow when it's not supposed to. So it's going to be a carburetor related issue, most likely needle and seat. All right. That looks good. That was number 9. This is number 10. This is the last scheduled question. My cart guy says that my 2004 club car needs rear bushings. Why would that be? Is that typical for a cart that is 16 years old? Well, yeah, that's very, very possible. But you can look at them yourself and see. You can see the bushings when you know that you got bushing. You got in the rear. You got a leaf spring. All right, one on each side, passenger side and a driver side leaf springs. In the front, you're going to have bushings, and in the rear, where it connects, you're going to have bushings. You can look at them and see if they still exist, because what happens is there's a couple of different compounds of bushings out there. Some of them are rubber, some of them are polyurethane. And what happens is I've seen them to the point where they just disintegrate, and you'll look back there and you'll be riding metal to metal, and because they're completely missing, they've broken apart and fallen out. So if they still exist in there and you can see them and they're not cracked, or you don't see big pieces of them missing, then they're probably fine. But if they're all cracked and dry and chunks missing out of them, then you probably do need new bushings. But that wouldn't be uncommon at all for a 16-year-old car, not at all. Yeah, Christine, it does come with a charger, and you're in Texas. Yeah, so in Texas that'd be very close to where I'm at. So I would say anywhere from $500 to $1,000, depending on condition of the cart and depending on any accessories that are on the cart. You know, if you got nothing, if it's just a regular stock golf cart, $500 to $1,000, depending on condition. All right, let's see here. I will run the social media links again. If you like this content, you like talking about golf cars, if you like listening to me drone on about golf cars, you can follow us on any of these platforms. Let's see, John says, schedule a Gearheads on Demand phone call to go over a few things in more detail regarding the carts. Couldn't get a scheduled time until late February. You're a popular dude. Well, they got me on a pretty tight schedule now, that's for sure. We're working on that too, though. By the way, we're working on that, trying to get me a little more time. So we'll see if that happens. That way I can take more scheduled calls. It is a little tough nowadays. Let's see. I ran the social media links. Okay. All right. What about this? Didn't run that yet. Coupon code. I know everybody wants other stuff, but coupon code's what I got. Get 5% off any parts you order from Golf Cart Garage using TIM7 at checkout. Use the code TIM7. This code expires on February 10th. So you still got plenty of time to use that code to get 5% off any parts. TIM7. Okay, remember that. Let's see. Now we're going to get to this week's tip. Usually my tip that I give every week comes from one of the questions in the episode. This does kind of come from the question about the bushings in the rear springs. This week's tip is, every now and then you just need to do a visual inspection of your golf cart, just like you're a pilot fixing to take a plane up. You know, every time a pilot flies, he has to do a walk around on his plane. There's a few things he just has to look at and examine, make sure they're still there. Well, one of the things is the bushings in the rear. You need to look at those at least once a year. You need to take a walk around your cart, make sure you don't have a low tire, but get down on the back in the rear, get down under it, look up under it, look at your bushings in your rear springs and make sure they're still there. Because when they go out, you're going to be metal to metal, and it's going to make a heck of a racket. All right. That looks like it's going to be about it for me. I don't see any more questions on Facebook. Looks like we're good on YouTube. Yep, that's going to be it. Today was January the 26th on Thursday. This was actually episode 90, believe it or not. We are closing in on 100 episodes week by week. We're getting closer and closer. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. I appreciate everybody that came into the live chat and participated today. That always helps. So thank you guys. I appreciate y'all being here. We will never run out of questions as far as golf cart questions go, I'm sure. All right. Well, I'll see everybody later. The garage is now closed.